Okay, guys, so today we're going to talk about the second type of interpersonal communication goals, which is relational goal. And for this topic, we're going to cover three models or three theories related with relationship development and relationship maintenance. So let's talk about the first theory. This theory is called relationship dialectics theory. But before I dive into this theory, I would like to ask you guys to reflect on the relationships you've had. So let me ask you, have you ever struggled in a relationship, or are you currently struggling in a relationship? I bet the answer would be yes for most of you, if not all of you guys. So this struggle, it can be something minor. Say, this Friday evening, my favorite movie director's new movie is going to be released. I really want to check out this movie on the first day. At the same time, my boyfriend is asking me to go to his best buddy's birthday party. So at this time, I am a little bit kind of debating and struggling. So on one hand, I want to follow my heart and I want to check out the new movie. But on the other hand, I don't want to, piss off my boyfriend. I want to please him. So for this situation, I'm kind of struggling. I feel like two forces are pulling me together. So it's going to be a hard decision for me. And this struggle can be something big, can be a major issue, such as my boyfriend. We have been dating for, 6 months. And my boyfriend, he wants me to move in to his place. But I would like to slow down a little bit and take some more time to know better about each other. So this decision is going to be something big, right? So again, I'm struggling, but this time I'm struggling over a relatively big issue. So I'm pretty sure all of us, most of us have been struggling in a relationship, or some of you guys are probably still struggling in a relationship. So I guarantee you that all these relationship struggles can be analyzed by this relationship dialectics theory. So let's take a look at this theory. The basic assumption of this theory is that people in all relationships experience dialectic tensions. So don't get scared by this term, dialectical tensions. Let me first define what is dialectical tension. Dialectic tension is simply the conflict that arises when two opposing forces exist simultaneously. So in other words, simply put, it is kind of the struggle that people are experiencing. And this struggle or this tension can be within one person, such as part of me want to watch the movie, part of me want to, go to my boyfriend's, his, best friend's party. So myself is struggling. Okay, all these tensions happen just within one person, within myself. I'm debating with myself. And sometimes these dialectic tensions can happen to a couple. Say one person wants to live together, but the other person of this couple wants to slow down a little bit and take more time to know better about each other. So again, these dialectic tensions can happen within one person. I'm struggling, I'm debating. And it could also happen to a couple, to two people. One person wants A, whereas person B, the other person wants B, and A and B are not compatible. So in this situation, this couple is experiencing this dialectic tension as well. And this theory proposes that it is this dialectic tension that would drive the change or development of a relationship. And we're going to look at these three specific types of dialectic tension proposed by this theory. The first one is autonomy versus connection. Second one, novelty versus predictability. Last one, openness versus closedness. So please note for these three couple of things, each pair is kind of opposing against each other. So sometimes I would experience a tension between autonomy versus connection. So in this situation, I'm feeling that the need for the autonomy and the need for connection are existing at the same time. So in this situation, I'm experiencing this tension, this struggle, or these two opposing forces. Okay, let's talk about the first type of dialectic tension, autonomy versus connection. And this tension or this dialectic reflects the tension between wanting to be independent versus wanting to be connected. Let's talk a little bit about human beings. So human beings, we're all social beings, which means that all people, we like being a part of a community. We like being part of a team or a group. So that is the desire that we want to be bonded, we want to be connected with other people. At the same time, we are all individuals. We want to have our own identities, the sense of ourselves. So to some extent, we don't want to be identical with other people. We want to have something unique about ourselves. We want to be different from other people. So this refers to this kind of two opposing types of needs kind of drive us have this tension between this autonomy versus connection. So in other words, this autonomy and connection dialectic tension refers to we're struggling between two needs or two desires. The first one is the desire to have, ties and connections with other people. And at the same time, we also feel the need to separate ourselves as a unique individual. So one example of this dialectic tension between autonomy versus connection would be a football player who wants to feel like they are part of this team, but also they want to highlight their individual talents, their individual skills on the field. And the external manifestation for this tension is that sometimes we are debating or we have to make a hard decision whether you want to be a part of a group or you want to be alone. So, for example, for this upcoming weekend, part of me feel like I want to have some private time. I want to spend this weekend just, by myself, watch a movie, read my favorite book. At the same time, part of us may feel like we want to be connected. We want to spend some time together with our families and with our friends. And if we kind of move towards one end, one need too much, we will feel a hard pull, a strong pull from the other end. For instance, right now we are quarantined at home, and we probably will spend much of the time by ourselves. And after a period of time, we would feel very strong pull from the end of connection. So we have a strong desire. We want to hang out with our friends. We want to go out, talk with people, right? I would say this is a perfect example for this dialectic tension between autonomy versus connection. And here I want to share with you guys a thought or an idea about marriage. Lots of countries, especially the Western countries, when people are getting married, usually the wives would not abandon, but pretty much like give up their original family names and adopt their husband's family names. So I would say this is kind of, I know it has been like hundreds of years. So I would say it's kind of a symbol that men are the one who would maintain an autonomous role in the family, whereas wives are the ones who are seeking for connection and bonding in the family. So this is just a random thought I would like to share with you guys. I want to make the connection between the theory with, our reality. So this is the first type of dialectic tension between autonomy versus connection. So simply put, it is a struggle between the feeling or the desire, I want to be a part of a group, versus the feeling of being just oneself, being on oneself. Okay, so let's move on to the second type of tension, which is novelty versus predictability. Before I give you guys a definition of this tension, I want to share some of my teaching experiences with you guys. So interpersonal communication, like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite courses I've ever taught. I think I have taught this course for almost 10 times. And each time when I learned that I'm gonna teach this course again in the next semester or the next term, well, I would say I have a mixed feeling. So part of me feel like, wow, this is easy because I have all the materials ready, I have the slides, I have the lecture notes ready. So all I need to do is to show up in the class and, pass on the knowledge to my students. So it is kind of, I feel like everything is within my control. I can even predict what kind of questions I may get from my students in the class. But part of me, I say it is mixed feeling. It is because part of me also feel like I'm a little bit kind of bored because I've taught this course for multiple times. So there is nothing new and everything is so predictable. So gradually I feel like I'm losing a little bit kind of passion teaching this course. So this is kind of another type of tension people could have for relationship. That is the struggle between I want something new versus I want something predictable. I want to have a routine. So let's talk about this tension. This dialectic tension concerns a tension between predictability and routine in a relationship versus desiring novelty and newness. So the relationship is pretty much like the teaching experiences I just described. So part of us, we want something new, something exciting, right? Surprises. But if this person keeps giving us surprises, we would feel, wow, it is out of my control. It is not predictable. So sometimes we will be freaking out. So we want something more stable. We want something kind of a routine. But let's say if I have been dating for a guy for 10 years and everything is within my control, I know very well about this person's personality, what kind of person he is, and we keep a very strict routine for weekend, such as watching a movie and eating a pizza or whatever. And gradually you'll be getting bored. You will lose passion for this person. So at this time, you want something new. You want some surprises, right? So what kind of behaviors we may have when we experience this tension? That is a kind of a decision or a desire, whether you want something stable or you want to have some changes for this relationship. That is novelty versus predictability. I forgot that for the last tension, I should have showed you guys a movie clip from the show Friends. So let's take a look of the tension between Rachel and Ross. So we can see in this movie clip, Rachel, she is the one who wants to be independent, who wants to have some private time and space, where Ross is the one who is seeking for some connections and bondings and some intimacy. Okay, so that are the two types of tensions we could have. And in next video, we're going to talk about third type of tension. And you know how I kind of balance this novelty and how I deal with this tension between novelty versus predictability for my teaching. That is, for every time I will teach this course, I'm going to add new stuff into the teaching. And this would kind of keep me feel passionate about teaching this interpersonal communication course.